Okay, the GPO and the WEP are no more. The fight that's been going on for the last 40 years or so has finally been repealed, and these two provisions of the Social Security Act are now gone. And if you don't know what the GPO and the WEP are, then you might just want to watch a different video over here, because I seriously doubt that there's anybody out there impacted by these two things that doesn't know what they are. But just in case, the government pension offset and the windfall elimination provision are two things that reduce a person's Social Security benefit or their spousal or their survivor benefit based on the fact that they get a public pension. Like here in the state of Texas, where I am, somebody who's in the teacher retirement system that didn't pay into Social Security and gets a TRS pension, then they get their Social Security benefits or their spousal and survivor benefits reduced. And that's happening to a lot of other professions are in that same category, where they get a pension and they may have not paid into Social Security, and then they're reduced by the WEP and the GPO. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I think is going to happen going forward and show you a little bit of a calculation of that, and just talk to you about what the Social Security Administration is saying right now. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank you for watching the video. If you want to get more education about investing or financial planning, you can subscribe to the channel. And you can also do one other thing. We have something called the Financial Advice Test Drive on our website. There's a link right below there. Go to evidenceadvisors.com, click on this Take a Financial Advice Test Drive button, and it'll just pop up for you with a little video where I explain what that is and a questionnaire. And you can go through that, and it's completely complimentary. So if you're looking for an advisor or you have some questions about investments or financial planning, then go ahead and take a look at that. If not, then that's fine too. Well, let's get back to talking about the GPO. Okay, the government pension offset and the WEP. What used to happen, and I'll give you a little background on how I found out about this and my first experience with it, is that I used to be a teacher. My first job back in 1998, I was a teacher, a high school teacher. And long story how I became a CFP and what I'm doing now and everything. I won't bore you with that. But when I was starting out my financial practice, I worked with a lot of teachers and worked in a lot of teacher retirement. And what was happening is people were getting these teacher retirement payments because in Texas they weren't paying into Social Security in some of the school districts, and finding out that their spousal Social Security benefit was completely reduced, that their survivor benefit was gone, that their own Social Security, if they qualified for it from some other job or something, was also reduced. And was a pretty big surprise to people at that time, because it wasn't really something that was talked about. People didn't really find out about it until they got to retirement. And what was interesting is there was like this loophole where you could go work for a TRS employer, another school district, that paid into Social Security. As long as you did that for one day, and they filed your retirement for you, then you got exempted from this whole GPO WEP thing. And then the government said, well, that loophole's closing, and it got crazy. People were doing all kinds of retire, rehire things. They were going to school districts, working for one day in a school district and paying into Social Security, and having that school district file the Social Security or file the TRS retirement for them, and getting exempted from the GPO and the WEP. And some of these school districts were even charging people to go work for them for a day to file their TRS for them. And then they would retire and they'd just go back to the other school district and get rehired. And, those days, that was pretty wild back then. Those days are gone, and that loophole is gone. So now that this thing has been repealed, the people that didn't get exempted or that didn't have the ability to go and do that loophole, they are so excited. They're so happy that this has been repealed, and they're all crossing their fingers and trying to wait and see what's going to happen to these payments. So I'm going to give you what I think is going to happen, and there's no guarantee on this because nobody really knows yet. Even the Social Security Administration doesn't really know, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Let's go to the Social Security website. Excuse me. And let's take a look at that. So on their website, they have right at the top, information about the Social Security Fairness Act. And you click on that, and they're basically saying, hey, Social Security Administration is evaluating how to implement the act and provide any other information as soon as possible. So a couple things about this. First of all, it's called the Social Security Fairness Act. And like I said, this has been a battle going on for a long time. I'm not going to talk about whether it's fair or whether it isn't fair. There's a lot of other information about that. Lots of people doing videos about how they actually feel about this, whether the fairness of it, how it's going to impact Social Security, and all these kind of other things. I'm not going to go into that. You can watch that at some other place. But the fact of the matter is, these things have been repealed, and people's Social Security benefits are going to increase. And Social Security is still trying to figure that out. I would not call Social Security. What I would do is make sure that you go here to ssa.gov My Account, sign in or create one, and just follow along there and see how your payment changes. There's probably going to be some notices and some things sent out, or they may just recalculate it and you're going to get a new payment. So we'll see what happens. But what I think is probably going to happen, and let's look at an example of the GPO before. That's one of the reasons why I think, it's tough to say what's going to happen, is because the GPO calculator is still here on the website. And Social Security hasn't gotten around to taking the GPO calculator or the WEP calculator off the website yet. And so they're still there, even though these two things don't exist. But here's what used to happen to somebody, and I'll give you an example of a teacher again. If you received a TRS payment of, say, $3,000 a month before taxes, then your spousal Social Security benefit or your survivor benefit was reduced by 2/3 of that. So somebody with a $3,000 TRS payment, the benefit payment for Social Security would be reduced by $2,000. So if your spouse had, say, a $1,500 Social Security payment, or they had even a $2,000 Social Security payment, you're not getting any of that because you got to reduce everything by the $2,000 first. Also, the survivor benefit, which was what most people were really reliant on, also would be completely reduced if that Social Security payment was, $2,000 or less. So this is a huge deal for people, especially on the survivor benefit. You don't hear too many people complaining about the WEP. You do hear people upset about the spousal part, but the big impact was the survivor benefit. So in the act, one of the things that it says is that it goes back to December of 2023. So what people are hoping is going to happen is that Social Security is going to calculate going back 1 year to the start of December or the start of January 2024 and calculate all the payments that should have been received by somebody, for that year. And people are hoping that they're going to get a check for that 1 year of payments. And then beginning this month, or maybe it'll be next month, I haven't seen anybody get a new payment yet, then the new payments would start on a monthly basis. So that's the hope that everybody who's had this reduction done to them is going to do. So we'll see. It's possible that it gets divided up some other way or anything, but that's what I think is going to happen. I think people are going to get a lump sum for that 1 year and then start getting a new monthly payment going forward. So keep an eye out on the Social Security website. Make sure you go and get your login and everything, and just watch your payments and watch any updates and everything there for new things that are going to happen because of the Social Security Fairness Act. All right, and if you've had a significant reduction in the past, I hope that this really helps you with your monthly income. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. You have the link right below.